So I had to put that out there because we're gonna be talking about some stuff today. You know, always do it on permission. Always do it with permission, ladies and gentlemen. That sounded crazy, but whatever. Anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching, welcome to another episode of InfoSec Unplugged. I am your humble and gracious host, Davin Jackson. Thank you for joining. We're going to get right into it. My guest is just a light in the community. You've heard me bring him up a couple times, especially when I've brought the first episode back, talking about, the conversations that we had. If you don't know who he is, you should know who he is because, if you're on Twitter, I'm pretty sure you've seen either he posted or someone else retweeted with the positive energy that he sends out. He is a hacker in the true sense. And the only thing that is probably the thing that he does more than hacking is his retro gaming and collection. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, everybody in the chat, I'm not even going to do an applause. I'm going to do another Final Fantasy. And then I'm going to do this. Welcome my guest, Charles Shirer, a.k.a. the BSDBandit.
Yeah. Woo! Happy Thankful Thursday.
Oh, now, hold on. It looks like the signal's dropping a little bit. Of course, it wants to do it when we go live. Hey, hold on. Looks like you might be having some technical difficulties. The magic of live TV. Let me see what's going on. All right, so hold on. We're gonna try to get this right. All right, yeah. So anyway, that was Charles. He'll be back in a second. We're gonna figure out what's going on. Let's see here. Let's try this again.
I'm here.
You good, sir? All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Looks like it's a little there. All right, you good. All right, cool. All right. So everybody, welcome my guest, Charles Shirer, the BSDBandit. I'm not gonna do the catchphrase. I did it on Instagram and I completely butchered it earlier. But you go ahead, sir, and give yourself give everybody a warm introduction.
All right. Ow! Yip, yip. Well, I go by the name of the BSDBandit on Twitter. It's Thankful Thursday, folks. Hope everybody has enjoyed their day. And like I said, I'm just thankful to live to see another day. And I'm excited to be here today on.
Nice.
I was going to put you. I was about to say on, and you're supposed to say InfoSec. On.
Hey, okay. So like I said, so don't mind the technical difficulties. We got a little audio delay going on, but like I said, I'm happy you were here. So like I said, we here. I wanted to just jump right into it. For those who aren't familiar with you, sir, go ahead and give your origin story. We're gonna get the comic book thing going.
So I'm gonna take it back a little bit. My journey into hacking started you might as well say, in the 80s when my mom took me to work with her one day. And I mean, she had this like 5.5 floppy inch disc that had Pac-Man. And it was another game on there too, but Donkey Kong. But I was more concerned with Pac-Man, and I learned how to do little arrows and everything else on a green and black screen. So, a black and green screen, right? Ever since then, I've just been hooked to video games, and then eventually became the PC gaming, and then it came into like hacking. And in college, it was just like hacking full time because I had nothing else to do with my time. And today, it's led me to penetration testing / red teaming / security research, and still retro gaming, by the way. So I'm enjoying this stuff here. Still rocking 20 years later.
That's dope. Like I said, it's definitely been a journey, and it's funny. Like I said, we've talked about it time and time again, where the I guess that initial itch, or that initial knack for wanting to learn how to hack. A lot of that started with video games.
Yes,
mine was video games, and like I said, just kind of tinkering around my grandmother's house and messing with all the stuff and seeing what I could fix or what I could put together and mesh together. But now you talk about, like I said, you talk about your journey and you talk about now your role as a security researcher. So what? Because I've heard that role several times before, and you know how InfoSec is. Everybody's an engineer, and no one's an engineer at the same time. So go ahead and just talk about what you do as a security researcher.
Well, as a security researcher, I pretty much like pick a topic, or not even say a topic, just a technology that I want to work with, and I spend as much time as I can learning as much as I can about that particular topic, and still trying to figure out like ways around it. So, for example, let's look at. I'll just say take the Windows operating system. Um, like just taking time to just learn the internals of it, how to create an executable, how to create a DLL, how to like hack into Windows altogether, and just reading like white papers, old security white papers. Even though they're old, they still provide some type of foundation. So that's kind of like the role of a security researcher. Are you going to know everything there is to know? No, but you take an initiative to say, you know what? Here's what I want to learn. I want to learn as much as I can about it, and until it's no longer of interest to me anymore.
And see, that's the thing with this job, man. That's one of the reasons why I had such a hard time transitioning or moving up in the ranks, because I love the challenge of it, right? This is one of the few jobs where it doesn't get stale. It doesn't.
Right.
It's always changing. Technology is always changing. So
Mhm.
so everything around it's always changing. The attacks are always changing. How to defend it is always changing. And that is what kind of keeps my brain going. You know, I got to a point when I was doing help desk and desktop support, where I remember I was working one day, and then I said I'm gonna work from home, but I ended up going to go hang out with some family. And they're like, "Oh, you're gonna get in trouble if you get a call." And I'm like, "I ain't worried about it." And sure enough, we get a call that something was down, and I literally just kind of talked them through the process over the phone. Didn't have to look at didn't have the keyboard, nothing in front of me. It was like, okay, so if you go to the bottom right hand corner, right click over there, tell me what you see. Okay, you see that? All right, cool. So I need you to do this. I need you to type in Control Shift Escape, bring up your task manager. I'm gonna need you to close out all your tasks. And you know, it was just like, it was literally just kind of going through the whole process. All right, cool, reboot. You know, when reboot, hold that fake, go into safe mode. And it was like, and they were like, you just did that whole thing on call. And like, and for me, that's when I knew. I was like, yeah, all right, there's nothing else for me here. Right. There's literally nothing else for me here. That's what kind of led me down the path to security, and then moving into pen testing. And you know, and we're going to get more into that in a second, because like I said, I talked about earlier this season how, you know, the infamous "I'm done with InfoSec," which I didn't know was going to land me in so much whatever. But I'm glad you're here, because now we'll be able to explain it together for those in the back who just wasn't paying attention. But but before we do, for those who are new here, InfoSec Unplugged is my weekly live show podcast where we talk to different guests in the field of cybersecurity, information security, whatever it is you want to call it. Talk about their career journeys, talk about their ups, their downs, and most importantly, their why, the driving factor for them to do what they do, get up every morning and, you know, continue to go down that road. And we are live on Restream. So you are watching this live. You are watching us on YouTube. We are also on Twitch, and we are also on LinkedIn. So shout out to all the viewers out there. You know, and then for those who want to watch this after the fact, you can either check us out on the Alpha Cybersecurity YouTube channel, or go to the InfoSec Unplugged channel, where I will be uploading these episodes as well as the past episodes. So with that, we're going to go right back into it. Again, it's crazy because I still am getting used to this. How many episodes in now? All right. So, you know, like I said, when we agreed to have you come on the show, we talked about, you know, we're going to get into the nitty gritty of everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is the phrase hacker, right? I got my hacker shirt on today. But the phrase hacker, right? Because a lot of people have a different idea of what it means to be a hacker.
Oh yeah.
What you know, whether it's negative or positive. in your definition, what is a hacker?
A hacker is someone who not only, I'll put it this way. A hacker is someone who makes things work the way they want it to work, and how I can say for what it's not really intended to do. So if you're a hacker of software, you want to make that software your oyster. You want to make it do something that it wasn't designed to do and do cool things. And you get to explore and you get to find new things about that software, right? Or you can customize the software. I think hacking is more so of a mindset. It's not just computers. There's hackers of phones. There's hackers of life. There's hackers of financial systems. I'll say finance, right? Yep. There's hackers of words. Anything that you can do and do it creatively, that's really just a hacker. So there is no one definition. I know everybody sees Mr. Robot. I know everybody's seeing Sneakers and all these other newer hacker movies that's probably coming out. And that is just so far left from what being a hacker really is. It's all about your creativity.
Yep. No, I think that goes back into what we were talking about earlier about the video games, the things that you were able to do with video games back in the day, whether it was from Atari systems, looking for Easter eggs and certain stuff like that, or again, making certain things, do what it wasn't intended to do. Growing up poor or growing up with lesser than others. I'm not going to say poor because I don't want, my mom, hey mom, but, growing up, with not having the ability to just go buy every single video game that came out. That's what led me into it. My goal was, how can I get some games that I want, but I don't necessarily want to pay for?
Yeah.
Right. Allegedly, because I don't know the limitations, right?
You did put up the disclaimer.
And then, being so close to, New York at the time, we would go to Chinatown and hang out, and they would tell us, hey, do you know that they have these games over in Japan?
Yeah.
That don't make it over here.
Yeah.
And it was like, really? How do we make that happen? And I can't, what was it? Dragon Ball. I think it was Dragon Ball
Z.
Dragon Ball Z. It was Dragon Ball Z Legends or whatever, right? And it was, the crazy part for a Sega Saturn at that time, the graphics weren't that great, but the gameplay
was amazing.
The gameplay was amazing. You could knock people into mountains just like the game.
Yep.
They powered up. It was enough. The graphics were enough for you to know who you were and what you were doing. And it never made it over here. And me and a couple of my homeboys started looking, whatever. And again, we didn't have Google. We barely had Ask Jeeves. So we had to ask around. We had to go buy magazines and all of this.
Nintendo Power,
right?
And
Game Pro magazine. But then like I said, one day we were there and they said, no. So what you got to do is you got to trick the Sega Saturn to think it could play the disc. So what you had to do is you could burn the disc. Allegedly, right? Allegedly, you could burn the disc.
Yep.
You start the Sega Saturn. I think the PlayStation 1 allegedly also had this too. Open the door, right? Open the door, but you still had to make it think that the door was closed.
Yep.
So you pop open the door, and immediately you either had like a Q-tip or a toothpick or whatever the case may be, and there was a button.
Yep, that you held down.
And you stick the toothpick there to hold down the button, and then you get the door to rest on it just enough. Not enough to smash it, but enough to kind of hold it.
Yeah.
Pop out the disc, pop in the burn disc. Again, this is all alleged. And then there you go. You have your game.
Yep. And you know what's funny? Chinatown, that's where I got Dragon Ball Z. Actually,
the anime, the anime, right? Because back then it was
no.
Cartoon Network.
The Super Nintendo.
Oh, the Super Nintendo one. Okay, because that's how we used to get our anime. Right.
Because
back then you couldn't. There wasn't no Cartoon Network. There wasn't Crunchyroll. You had to wait like
on
like
VCR.
maybe like a month and a half.
Yep.
For enough episodes to come out, and they would put about three or four episodes on a VHS tape.
Yep.
And you would have to go up there, pay whatever you had to do to get the VHS tape, come back, and then watch it. So it was literally like an 8-hour day, because by the time you catch the train from Bridgeport, get over there, do the walk. Of course, we got to stop and get some food, and then we got to stop at the arcade. Then we got and then sometimes they had to actually it wasn't burning, it was dubbing the VHS tape. You had to wait for them to dub it, and then get back on the train and come home, pop it in for, like I said, 8 hours for like not even 90 minutes.
Hey,
it was worth it.
We had all the time in the world back then, you know. That was the same thing with the Super Nintendo. They had with the Super Famicom, they had the Dragon Ball Z for Super Famicom. So what I wound up doing was taking 2 pliers and pulling out the Regent blockers that were in the Super Nintendo that blocked you from being able to play Super Famicom games. And that's how I was able to play Dragon Ball Z for Super Famicom on the Super Nintendo.
Yep.
So, yeah. Yes, we're way too old, Lilo.
Hey, look, we're showing our age a little bit. But again, and the funny thing is, I was okay doing it on those systems because we paid for those, right? Because the first computer, the first computer my mom brought home, the last thing I wanted to do was do anything that could mess up the computer. So it was like, nah, we're not doing that. But the video game systems, it was like, all right, cool. Just don't break it. Just don't break it, right? So even with the Super Nintendo, I never did that one with the Super Nintendo because I didn't have the heart that if it broke, I would go. Actually, it wasn't with the heart. I wouldn't.
No. Yeah.
I probably
it was just broke. It was just broke.
I don't know what happened. And look, you ain't getting another one.
Yeah, so it was just broke.
so now fast forward. You take that mentality, right? Because and I'm glad we're having this conversation because it plays into the bigger picture of what we're trying to do, things that we've talked about offline,
right?
With teaching other people. A lot of people look at stuff like that and never put 2 and 2 together that this is the mindset that you need, or just the curiosity, right? Just that curiosity is enough to kind of get you started. It's not enough to get you gainfully employed for a long time,
right?
But it's enough of a skill set to start with. Everybody looks at cybersecurity or even technology as a whole, and there's this aura behind it. And I'm speaking from experience, right? Even me doing all of this stuff, making these runs, getting the information, getting the knowledge, doing all of the things that we were doing when we were younger, I still always, and again, there was a lot to it. There's a lot more to it, but I was always under the impression that I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't inclined. So it's great to hear that, from someone else and other people that I've had that were guests on the show about that skill set being the catalyst,
right?
And having those other transferable skills. So if you want, why don't you could speak to a little bit of the importance of everyday things being transferable skills. It could be, like I said, I'm working at a supermarket. It could be anything. Talk about that for a second.
So anything okay, for example, we say working at a supermarket, right? So the goal, and this, like I said, again, we're going to go back to the mindset of a hacker, right? So if I was working at a supermarket, right, and say that I was in charge of just making sure that produce is where it's supposed to be, items are supposed to be on the shelves, right? Right before all this before 6 a.m., right? So the first thing I'm going to do is just carve out a way of doing this ahead of time, right? It's kind of like when you write a script. So when you write a script and you know what's supposed to happen once the script completes, it's the same thing if I was working at a shopping center. So say, okay, produce had to be out by 6 a.m., right? So, okay, cool. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull out everything that belongs in the produce section. and I'm going to have it in like lines or whatnot. So it's like, okay, the first line is going to be like, say, carrots, right? Next line is going to be bananas and cabbages or whatever else. And I'm just going to do it at a rate to where I know for a fact that I can maybe possibly automate this either with myself or other people. And this is where, and this is just like the art of hacking. It's like, hey, I'm trying to get my work done, but I want the other folks to help me to get it done faster. So I can't tell them that it's my work, but I can tell them that the boss said, hey, we all have to get this done. So now we're trying to get everything back to back to back done. Not only do I get my work done, but I've gained a new set of friends and we all get to work together. And that's just that if I was working in the supermarket, I would keep that like hacker mindset. And then I would find other departments to pretty much do the same thing to a point where I'm actually moving up the chain. And that's just hypothetically if I was working at a supermarket, but keeping that hacker mindset with me saying, hey, I want to get from point A to point B, but I can't take this route because it'll take longer. I don't want to take that route because there might be some obstacles, but this is all like a mind map that I'm playing off in my head before I even make a decision. Same thing as a hacker. You're not just going in and just throwing commands at everywhere, right?
Right.
It's a mind map that you have when you're attacking something. Okay, this is the application. Okay, cool. What does this application do? Does this application have documentation? How does this application work? If this feature wasn't here, how would I be able to still get what I need from this application? And this is all just like a mind map.
Right.
So
I again, going back to the concept with the gaming, right? There's always a strategy or a way to do it, right? But in order to learn the strategy, you have to get a layout of the land.
Right.
So for me, one of the biggest things that I enjoy doing is actually watching speed runs. Right? Using your supermarket example. So for those who don't know, a speed run is when they take a game, especially like the Metroid games. Like I love because those games usually used to take me forever. Right? Metroid, some of the Zelda games. But they take these games that are like legendary, like are ingrained in our minds for those of us who played those games in our show and our old, like Lilo said. And they beat them in like world record time, right? I've seen someone beat Metroid in like, whatever, 10, 15 minutes, whatever. But what they don't see is
the game genie.
Or not even the game genie. The hours of practice, right? But the hours of practice that they did to get to that point. But how are they able to know that, oh, if I brush up against this wall and jump and duck at the same time, I can warp, right? Think of the first Mario Brothers game. No one knew, oh, if I just take this in World 1, 2, if I just take this thing all the way up to the end, run over here, there'd be 4 pipes right here that would take you to different worlds. You have to get a layout of the land. And this is what I tell people, that's all hacking is getting a firm understanding of whatever it is you're dealing with or working on.
Right.
And then just figuring out what if, right? It's the curious side of it. Like I have a talk, and I'm gonna give y'all I have a talk that I've been working on, but it's literally, and it's called like Curiosity Killed the API. Right?
Yay! I like that.
And the whole concept is treating APIs almost with a childlike mentality. Now, I'm not telling you to push every single button, right? You still have to know what you're doing or what you're dealing with, but you have to have that childlike curiosity of what's this do? What's this do? Oh, this says this. What if I put this in here?
Right.
Oh, it has this parameter. What if I tell it to do this? And then, but that can translate to a lot of things in security and hacking, whether it's applications, whether it's mobile or web app, cars, drones, a lot of them follow the same concepts. So a lot of the time when people go, oh, I could never do that. I could never do that. That's where this new I shouldn't say newfound drive, but this drive for me to say,
Yeah.
trust me, I'm the farthest thing from a genius. I'm the farthest thing from the smartest person in the room. As a matter of fact, I live in a house full of 4, and I am the 4th smartest person in my own household. 5 if you include my dog, right?
Rough.
but but
Yeah.
but it's also that same curiosity and that same mentality, right? And whether when I was working at Circuit City and dealing with that, when I used to work at Target in the entertainment section, when people actually used to go back and buy CDs and DVDs back in the day, right? It was every Monday night you had to work the overnight shift, right? Because most new movies and music albums back then came out on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But I was still required to work my shift on Monday. So I would probably work 1 to close, and then I would have to work till 3, 4 in the morning to stock the stuff. Well, I don't want to do that. So what I did now is I would, during my shift, okay, give me all the things that are coming out on Tuesday. Okay, we put them in alphabetical order. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I know the new Aerosmith album's coming out. What do? I put it behind the old Aerosmith sign. Oh, new DMX, put that here. Oh, Jay-Z, boom, here. Oh, right. So now, as soon as the store closes, all I have to do is just remove the old signs. So now the signs are already done. Now all I have to do is just move the CDs over. Okay, well, guess what? During my lunch break, I go over there and I done cut open everything and I put them in alphabetical. I reshuffled them in alphabetical order. So now all I gotta do is, hey man, pass me the box with all the A's. Pass me the box, right? Boom, 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 boom. So now by midnight, I'm out the door.
Yep.
Right. It wasn't until later on when I was like, I probably should have milked it and collected the overtime. But then even then it was, okay, I'm gonna do all of this and I'm gonna go sit in the break room for another hour and a half, right? So
making life easier.
So again, making life easier or doing something with the system that wasn't initially intended, right? That's when I say when I talk about being a hacker is can you do something that wasn't the initial thought process, right? That's it. So can you take a video game and make it play burnable CDs allegedly? Yes. And can, like you said, can you kind of cheat the system with what you do at work and get everybody to work? Yes.
Yeah.
And Allen Iverson, right? Allen Iverson revolutionized the crossover.
Yep.
Right. Again, we're showing our age, right? So much so they tried to change the rules around it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because no one did it. No one did it. And then he crossed up Mike.
And then
he crossed up Mike and then hit that free throw. And it was like,
yeah.
Huh. Right.
Yeah.
One before that, Magic Johnson revolutionized the point guard. Before him, there wasn't a point guard with his size. So that's the mentality. That. So if you have that mentality, congratulations, you're already a third of the way there. So now it's just a matter of like I tell the kids with the esports thing, shameless plug, but I tell the kids with the esports thing, when you're playing your games, guess what? You're already figuring out the phases,
right,
of a security assessment. So now let's trade the keyboard. I mean, let's trade the controller for a keyboard. Let's trade the TV for a monitor. Okay, let's trade the stage you're on for a terminal.
Right.
That's it. Now it's just so the same hand-eye coordination you need to make your car flip in Rocket League, which by the way, I am
Rocket League. You took it back.
But the same hand-eye coordination. No, I'm saying even with the new Rocket League with the car soccer game thing. But even with that, with the same hand-eye coordination, just now instead of I need to hit the right trigger here. No, I just need to type in this command. So that's something that I think is super important when you talk about transferable skills and being a hacker. So, but before I do that, do have one thing I need to plug. So on April 12th, there is a cybersecurity event that's going to be just for kids. And it is called the Youth Conference for Network Defenders, or YNC or YCND. I almost shouted out.
Yeah.
So,
Man.
so it says, attention, all parents and guardians. Do you have a young cyber enthusiast in your life? We have the perfect event for them. On April 12th, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., we will be hosting a cybersecurity event just for kids. The Youth Conference for Network Defenders, or YCND, I almost did it again, will feature a range of activities and workshops to help young people learn about cybersecurity and how to stay safe online. We are inviting kids between the ages of 11 and 19 to participate in this exciting event, where they will have the opportunity to learn from experts in the field of cybersecurity, engage in hands-on activities, and network with other like-minded kids. In addition to inviting young participants, we are also seeking sponsors and volunteers to help make this event a success. If you're interested in supporting this important cause, not clause, geez. Please visit our website to learn more. Tickets for this event are priced at just $50 a person and are available for purchase now on our website. But hurry, as the space is limited and tickets are selling fast. So parents and guardians, mark your calendars for April 12th, 2023, and get your kids excited about cybersecurity. Together, we can help build a safer and more secure online community for all. And I will be putting the link in the chat for it. Hold on, let me just see here. I'll make sure that this is the right link. No, this is no. So you could reach out to Joyce Huggins on LinkedIn. You breaking up again.
There we go. You got it?
Yep. You good.
Did you get the link in there?
No, I didn't get the link. I'm actually going to ask her for the link because I don't see the link. But yes, so on April 12th, but also while I'm plugging the events for people, don't forget that the 24-hour women's CTF event, Wicked 6, is also this is it today and tomorrow?
Is it today? Tomorrow?
Yes,
okay.
24-hour event. So make sure you go to Wicked 6, and if you haven't registered, go ahead and register for that. Shout out to Mary Galloway and Jess Gulick. They are hosting that event. So yes, make sure you tune into that. It is a great event for a great cause. So now, with that being said, I think it's time now for since we might as well just keep going. Yes, Tish did say
it is today. Okay.
So yeah, so make sure you go. So when you get off this call, when you get off the show, I gotta double check with you. But go make sure you go tune in, and then there you go. Marcus has it right there. So YCND Defender Academy.io. So I'm gonna so it's in the chat, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the chat as well.
Drop that link in there, folks. Check it out. If you got time, get in there. Yeah. I just had to do that. I got that in my.
So that'll be on April 12th. And then we also have, it keeps asking me to block. I don't want to block. And then make sure you also tune into the Wicked 6 event.
Yeah.
And last but not least, I have to shout out this week's affiliate, NordVPN. So we're going to play that real quick. And then we're going to get back into the whole thing about being a hacker versus being an InfoSec. So you don't want to miss that conversation. Trust me.
Right. You've got too many.
Stuck at home? Make the most of the internet with NordVPN. As you're trying out new apps to save you from boredom, NordVPN will make sure that your data is always protected. And you can still travel, well, virtually, by connecting to VPN servers in almost 60 countries. Up for a new gaming challenge? Make sure that cyber threats don't get in your way. Feeling curious? Access the news from all over the world firsthand. Get the app now. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
So again, thank you to NordVPN for the affiliate link. They're doing 2 years for a 2-year subscription for 63% off. And again, just a disclaimer, when you do click that link, please, you should get a VPN. I don't care what they're saying with the whole TikTok thing. Get a VPN. They're banning VPNs. Okay, yeah, no, you still need it. You still need to get a VPN.
Yeah.
But when you do click the link and get Nord's VPN or any other services, because they do have things like password managers and things actually to help you clear your digital footprint, which are all things you need if you do have a password manager and you are using something like LastPass, just like me, you're going to want to switch that out. And when you do, we do get a little commission, and it does help out with the show. So again, shout out to Nord. So Charles,
Yes, sir.
one of the conversations that we have had, especially while I was on my what do you want to call it? Because the last time
soapbox, tabletop.
Yeah, when I was on my soapbox or in my during my soul searching journey.
Yeah.
When we came to the realization about me saying I love cybersecurity, I love what I do, I love the idea of protecting people, but I'm done with InfoSec. I hate InfoSec. I can't deal with it. It's a pain in the ass, trying to partner with some organizations. And, again, moment of transparency, I felt like a hypocrite, right? I tell my people all the time, instead of asking for a seat at the table, build your own table, right? Yeah. And I found myself, especially over the course of the last 3 years, with trying to get the tech training and the esports stuff off the ground. I found myself asking for a seat at other people's tables to create that, and seeing that and kind of getting a sneak peek behind the curtain, so to speak. I became real disappointed in a lot of things, and honestly, a lot of people in InfoSec, which led me to that point, right? Because when I said it, everybody was like, but
gasp.
Yes. Yeah. but in our conversations, I remember one of the conversations we had, you had a very valid point. You said there is a big difference between being a hacker versus being an InfoSec, right? And it was like it was almost like that moment. And since we're going a retro route, it was almost like that moment on The Last Dragon.
Ooh.
When Leroy went to seek out the master.
Yeah, sure enough.
No, he went to seek out the master for the ultimate wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
And he found out that the master was just a printer for fortune cookies. Right? But that led down this path of enlightenment that later allowed him to achieve the glow. I likened that conversation to that moment for me, right? Minus the show enough and kissing the Converse and getting dumped in the water 3-4 times,
and catching bullets with his teeth.
Yeah, right. But to me, that was the moment where it was like it all clicked for me. So for those who don't know, I couldn't explain it, right? Or I could explain it, but I'd rather you explain it, because I don't, even though we're in the field of exfiltrating data, I didn't want to steal your stuff. So.
Oh my goodness. So what I mean by that, I'll break it down, right? So the difference between InfoSec and hacking, right? InfoSec, you're pretty much running through a script. It's like really telemarketing, right? If we want to break it down like that. It's like a telemarketer, right? You're reading a script in order to get something, right? In this case, you're trying to get a sale if you're a telemarketer. If you're a hacker, if you're an InfoSec and you're doing like penetration tests, you're pretty much running through a methodology to get the data that you're trying to get in order to be able to put it into a report for the customer, right? Let's flip this around. As a hacker, you don't care about any of that, right? You're just after one thing, the data. You don't care how you get there. There's no methodology in place. It's just that, okay, I'm going to try different things that I can think of that will get me to my destination. There is no scripted plan. It's just taking what's given to you and make it do things in order to bring back the data that you were looking for. That's a hacker. InfoSec, telemarketing, scripted. Hacker, all over the place. And pretty much, and we'll take it back to the Temptations, wherever his hat is his home.
Right. See, okay, we gonna keep the retro thing going. So see, and like I said, I, I took it a step deeper from the standpoint of, again, having having the hacker mindset or being a hacker, so to speak, is the essence, right? That's the essence. That's the breakdancing. That's the beatboxing. That, you know what I'm saying? That was hip hop before it became commercial.
Right.
InfoSec is now commercial.
Yeah.
Right. And you have the culture vultures or whatever it is you want to call them.
I'm glad you brought that up. We can take it.
Right. So you have that, and now it's tainted something that was pure in its essence to the point where think of it like the backpackers versus the commercial.
Oh,
right.
I'm glad you're saying this.
So you have someone like a KRS-One or someone like a Common or someone who has the essence and is lyrical and is deep in their stuff, but they don't sell like the commercial artists do because that's not what's trendy. And then the people who are trying to get you into what's trendy is telling you what's trendy. That's what going. So now with that analogy, that's where I go back when I said I'm done with InfoSec as a business. So right. So now when I train and mentor people, I'm teaching them the essence of it and how to get into the business, but I'm also going to say how to navigate that business so you don't have to deal with some of the pitfalls that I and you have also experienced. So that's where we're going.
So pretty much I'm about to sum it up. We're gonna take it there, right?
Okay.
So pretty much the computer game is just like the music game. You're only as good as your last configuration, right?
Oh.
Okay. So now we're gonna start. We're gonna InfoSec is Justin Bieber. Stop. No. Look. So we're gonna start. All right. An aspiring artist. You meet somebody, say, "Hey, I'm an artist. I'm trying to get into the studio. I'm trying to make this album." Okay, cool. You meet a person that's trying to get into InfoSec. They're trying to make it into the industry, right? First step, right? As a music artist, what's the first thing they make? They make mixtapes, right? What's the first thing an inspiring InfoSec person does? They make blogs. They make Twitch streams. That's their mixtape for them to get noticed, right? Now, once they get noticed and they start going on tour, which is for music artists, is they're going on tour displaying their talents, right? For InfoSec, they're going on tours doing talks at security conferences, right? That's also part of their branding package. That's part of their marketing. That's part of say, hey, look at me. I can do exploits. I can do X, Y, Z. As opposed to the music person. Hey, look at me. I got the #1 selling mixtape in this case, and flip it back over. I got the #1 program that's downloaded from GitHub. A lot of people reuse my stuff, rewrite the code. A lot of people are remixing my songs, right? Then you get to the point where you're actually discovered by a big label. In the music side, a Def Jam. On the InfoSec side, a Def Con. Right?
Okay.
So
you cooking.
So now these are some big time labels. So now you're on that label and you're learning different things, right? As a music artist, you're putting out bigger projects. You're getting put on bigger platforms. As you go to a bigger company like an IBM, DEF CON, or just like big time security companies, Microsoft, Google, right? Facebook. These companies are putting you on bigger platforms. They're like, hey, this is such and such from Google. This is such and such from Facebook. And it's opening them up to a wider audience. Same thing with music. You open it up to a wider audience. Now, here's the thing. You have to be consistent in both. If you stop putting up albums, people forget who you are. If you stop writing software, or you stop posting blogs, or you stop doing security conferences, or you just stop, period, people forget where you are.
So let's
right.
So before we jump into the because the consistency is key.
Yep.
But so now with that being said, just like the music business, since we're going with it.
Yep.
Some people lose their way.
Yes.
Right. Some people came up a certain way and wanted to stay true to it, and then at some point had to
deviate,
vary off, or whatever, go in a different direction for whatever reason. It could be the fame, it could be the money, it could be both. You know what I'm saying? It could be it could just be their ideologies changed. At
Yes,
what
and
point
that's
do you
okay.
think that happens? So now that is okay, but what happens when, again, and I'm not naming names,
I know, yeah.
but one of the things that really that was just like an eye opener for me was seeing some of the people who, or seeing some of the things or some of the places that I thought in its essence, or trying to keep that essence, right? And try to keep that vibe. And these were things that I aligned with, but then see the business side of it take over, right? We see it with pen tests, right?
Yep.
We see it with pen testing all the time, where you're on an assessment and they don't like the finding,
right?
So now the business gets in the way, and now their scope creeping. They want to change the scope. They want to accept the risk. They want to do whatever, right? And it takes away from that element. So how do we keep it at its core, in its purest form, if just like the underground artists, it's not making them any money?
Well, here's the thing, right? This is where the art of being a hacker, in our case, this is where you shift from being InfoSec and you keep that mindset of a hacker. A hacker only molds what's given to him, right? There is no script. So again, we're at the point of pure, and we're going to move from pen testing back to the music side for Prince. When Prince was making all this music and headlines and everything else, and then he got to the point where he just wanted to do his own thing and own his own thing, right? And that's where you saw him try to shift. Now, he made music he just made music, right? And there were some people that liked the music, but there were some people that didn't like the music. But there was enough people that liked the music to keep him going in the industry, right? Same thing with hacking, right? If you're making tools and you're pretty much molding and providing a path to help others learn, but not doing the scripted InfoSec route, you'd be surprised who wants to do that. You'd be surprised how many people actually enjoy doing that. And it's like not really going against the grain, but becoming the grain. The mindset changes, right? You become the person that at one time you wanted to be in the industry. Now you want to become the industry. Your mind changes. So now that your mindset changes, now everything changes, right? So now you have to go back to not only the original roots, and we're going to get into that for a second, but you're going back to the original roots with a new twist to it. So now you're screaming, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is... and then you're just getting into it, like you said, like you're writing blog posts, you're doing extra research, and this is where the security research comes in, right? You're doing research on things that people are probably not even thinking about, right? You know, whether it's crypto APIs within electric charging stations, whether it's electric cars, whether you're trying to figure out how to hack weather. Weather. How many people think about weather? You know, it's just your mindset is elevated to a point where you're like, hey, is there a way for me to actually create my own weather? Right. And I know that's thinking way off the box, but that's the hacker's mindset. The fact that something hasn't been done before shouldn't stop you. You should always take it as a challenge. And believe me, that's how we all learn. The answer is, if something hasn't been done before, just try it.
Again, that goes back to that curiosity, right? It goes back to
yes.
There's no dumb question.
No.
Right? If you think it, give it a try. And before you say it can't be done, try it. And if it can't, then at least you tried it and say, okay, I know it can't from this angle. I know it can't because again, the one thing I love about this field is there's no one right way to get in, right? Look at an Active Directory environment, right?
There's many paths.
There's many paths, right? And you might find one, or you might find another, but it might get you to the same, and it'll get you to the same destination, whether it's whether it's gaining access via social engineering or exploiting an SMB vulnerability or whatever the case may be, or like I said, or you gain another path, like you're running responder and someone's creds gets dumped in there, and that you crack their hash. So there's always a way in. There's never a wrong answer, right? And then we talked about this the other day too, things that people overlook, right? And I think this is what the hacker mindset is. I think what happens with when you deal with the business side is, and this goes to organizations as well as the people. On the people side, you have people who want to do it for the wrong reasons, right? So again, going back to that music analogy where some people come in and say, I'm just going to go this route because I want to get paid. Those are the people who aren't really in the field to be in the field. They're in the field because they heard they can get a bag. And those are the people who wind up, not really staying in long because they can't maintain. And then with the organization side of the business, they don't necessarily, I don't want to say they don't care, but no, I do. They don't care enough about the actual security of their systems. They care about the piece of paper that says they passed, even if they didn't necessarily pass, or they say, so I know you're saying all of this, but this is still saying it's still enough to be compliant, right? No one really cares. So when you see breaches happening, when you see things happening time and time again, it's usually because of that, right? Because if you do some digging at some point, there was probably someone somewhere on a team somewhere that said either they don't have security or they didn't listen to security that says, hey, we should probably do X, Y, Z. And they go, later. We don't have the budget for it. And then something happens. So, but the other thing I think gets lost when people move into having that initial hunger to be in the field and then getting into the business is the ability or the desire to learn. Right. A lot of people get in and they feel like once they got in, that's it, game over. I don't need to learn anything anymore. Right. I'm gonna say something that's gonna probably be a hot take, and I'm probably gonna get bashed on Twitter for. Back in over the course of 2020, 2021, 2022, a lot of people rode certain waves to get into the field. Right? You do your own research as to what waves I'm talking about. But a lot of people rode certain waves and certain trends. Because companies were also doing those same trends to make themselves feel like they were fitting into the narrative that was going on during this time. Right. Okay, you following? Cool. A lot of people rode this wave. And either got a job when they weren't really qualified for it, or did the boot camp thing and got certifications that they truly weren't certified or qualified for. And now, even though what's happening with the tech layoffs, a lot of it is, and let me clarify by saying this first, it's messed up what a lot of these companies are doing, because these companies don't need to lay a lot of these people off. They're just doing it because they're doing it because it's trendy and profitable right now. A lot of them. However, a lot of companies are cleaning house from some of those trendy hires. A lot of them, again, were qualified and justified and should have been in that role. And now that they feel like the trend is over, they want to they want to clean house. But a lot of them are also getting rid of those who came in and didn't take advantage of the opportunity they were given. Now, when I say when I say take advantage of the opportunity they were given, I was in them Twitter spaces in those Twitter streets telling people, okay, cool, you got it. You're there. You're in now.
Now, time to go to work. Time to work.
And anybody who asks, anybody who gets a new job, if they talk to me, the one thing I tell them is be a sponge. Learn all you can. Ask all the questions. It don't stop there. Keep striving. Keep going. Right? You got this job. What's the skill set for the next job above you?
Yep.
You're a level 1. What does it take to be a level 2 and a level 3? And get that skill set. Because guess what? There is going, and I said it from then, there's going to be a reckoning.
Yep. And the reckoning, when it happened, baby, and my grandmother's words.
And when and when everybody looks and they go, okay, this person has done this. Oh, but this person has obtained this certification, did this, moved over, helped in this, worked on this project, you know. And some of them are still doing it because of cost-cutting things, but a lot of them were like, oh, this person just, and then posted about it on social media that they got the bag. Okay, now they got it.
So here's
so I say that long-winded thing to say you have to continue to learn, right? Ozzy Agamba last week talked about being a lifelong learner. And talked about learning while you go. This is a field where you should be doing that. Constantly learning. And if you the moment, like I think you dropped the bar the last time you were on the show.
I'll tell you.
Say you could, and I'll let you say the bar again because I don't you know, I don't believe in copyright.
I'll put it to I'll put it to this way. The moment you become complacent,
there it goes.
Be prepared to meet your replacement.
Boom.
Again, the moment you become complacent, be prepared to meet your replacement because it's gonna happen. It's facts. I've seen it so many times. You know, you don't see it's just like the NFT community, right? You don't see them. You don't. Oh yes, I'm calling it. Let's call it out. I'm gonna call it out today. Like the NFT community, the crypto community, a little bit there. Like, you know, coming on some of these spaces where they're just saying, "Hey, bro, I made 100,000 today. What are you guys doing?" And it's just like, yeah, you made 100,000, but are you spreading the knowledge? Or what are you doing with that 100,000? Are you trying to keep educating yourself on crypto, or is it a quick fix? And I think in tech in general, right? Some people look at tech as a quick fix. One thing, there's no such thing as a quick fix in life. I'm sorry. There's no quick fixes. There is hard work. There is focus, and we're gonna switch back to our industry, right? Also, not only being complacent, but being too reliant, right? And what I mean by this is that, like, as of late, you notice when you talk with folks or you look online and everything, everybody's talking about a tool. We've become too reliant on tools, right? And this is where the hacker mindset comes in, right? Boom. Let's talk about Active Directory, okay? When you're first hacking Active Directory, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to try to use Responder because you don't have any creds or anything. You're going to fire up Responder to capture a hash, right? But here's the cool part. What if Responder didn't exist? What if Responder doesn't work one day? What if Responder is no longer supported? How do you get creds now? And if you were so reliant on Responder, now you can't do your job.
Yeah.
Or now you feel like you can't get in, or you'll probably lie to the customer and say, yeah, it's 100% secure. No problem.
You're good. Yep.
Yeah, you're good. You know? And then the company gets hit by a Mack truck of hackers because you didn't take the time to learn your job. You didn't take the time to say, you know what? I'm not going to just only be reliant on this tool. Let me figure out how this tool works. Let me understand how an attack works. But that's the mindset of a hacker.
But sometimes it's not even in the tool, right? It goes back to what I said. Learn the lay of the land.
Right. But
right?
here's the thing.
So case in point, I was on an Active Directory pen test and Responder didn't work.
What do you do next?
Okay, I ran my scans, came back with nothing.
Okay.
Right? Okay, poked and prodded. Okay, there was a couple little open SSH things. Oh, actually, there was an open SSH vulnerability from back in 2018 that allowed you, if you could figure out the naming convention, it could tell if you could throw a random list of usernames, and it would circulate and it would tell you if it was an active user, right?
Oh, okay, and ADCS is not installed, HunterBot. So there's no ADCS.
So now you do that. All right, cool. I got a couple of usernames. Fantastic. All right. I go around. All I can see is cameras and printers. Okay, fantastic. The cameras are insecure. I can log in with cameras with default creds. Okay, that's a finding. Great. But there's printers.
Yep.
Printers are also default creds. I can see the print jobs. I can see the email addresses to the print jobs or the faxes that they were getting sent. You see what I'm saying? So again, now you take that, boom. Now I know. Now I have a list of usernames and email addresses. Okay, is social engineering in scope? You see, you know what I'm saying? So again, there's always certain things. It's like and this is what I try to tell the junior pen testers. They think of pen testing in a linear sense, right? Granted, the phases of a pen test never change.
No.
Information gathering and enumeration, scanning, vulnerability analysis, exploitation, post-exploitation, report writing, right? Fantastic. So the phases never change. What you do in those phases do. So now, okay, like you said, responder doesn't work.
Right.
How do you get in? Right. You're not going to. You don't know that. You don't know that they're absolutely 100% secure. And you don't. You know what I'm saying? And that's and see and my thing is I look at it like any report I put my name on. It's my credit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to put my name on something and say you're clear if you're not clear. Right. And 9 times out of 10, you're never 100% clear. So, you know, people get too dependent in the mindset of pen testing has to be pinging, Nmap, vulnerability scan, Metasploit, report. Right? I don't care what the CEH tells you. That's not going to happen in the real world. Right? No, because that's Metasploit says get, you know, CEH said or the old CEH back in the day, and when I did it, it was okay. So you ping to see what hosts are live, you run an Nmap scan. Okay, you see the Nmap scan. Oh, there's a vulnerability. Not there's a Microsoft vulnerability, MS0867. Right. Okay, cool. Fire up Metasploit, hit search for the exploit. Boom. Okay. Offset because they rebranded. You know, okay, boom, go to exploit DB and see if you can find the exploit, kind of clean it up a little bit to work towards you. Right. That's a little bit more realistic, but not every system is going to do that. Right. So you have to do, you have to do the work.
Oh, how about this, right? Let's dig a little deeper. Let's manually become responder. This is the thing looking at more so, right? Like, how do you hack into, like, say, Active Directory or Windows in general without a C2? These are questions I'm looking at. How do you do it without that? But that's what I'm saying. Just like looking at it a little deeper, because we know that C2s can do it, right? But how do we manually do this stuff in the event that there's no C2s? This is the mindset that I'm on, like now, like looking back at, and you could take this back, and like I said, take the old school foundation, but give it a new school twist, right? Like the LDAP protocol, right? And I challenge folks, whoever's watching tonight, right? I challenge you, whatever it is that you're working on, whether it's web, say you're a web app pen tester and you're looking at this right now, right? I challenge you to figure out a way how to maybe bypass authentication without the use of a tool. And what I mean by that is, like, how does the tool do it manually? Figure that out. How does Burp become a proxy? You see what I'm getting at? What commands or what does Burp use in order to make itself a proxy? We want to get down into the serious weeds of networking or the serious weeds of how an application functions.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get down to that point. I want to get to the point where I'm like, you know what? What APIs, like how to create a DLL, a fake Windows DLL, using only Windows APIs and assembly. Let's get down to that standpoint. You know?
And again, and I think going back to what we were talking about earlier is, once you start asking yourself those questions, and you know, actually digging into it, you realize some of it is difficult, some of it might be hard, but it's not as hard as you think, right? I'm not saying it's not gonna be hard, but again, sometimes you might not succeed in it, but you'll learn something. You'll still learn something from it, where it goes, okay, because again, there's plenty of times where I've tried certain things and it didn't work for me. But then on a pen test or on something else, something looked familiar and I go, oh, that's what that is. That's what this is over here. Or, oh, now you find the missing piece somewhere else, right? And again, everything is a learning experience. So for example, I suck at coding. And I talked about this in the last episode.
So do I.
Coding, right? But what I did was when I worked for a company working on their app, what I ended up doing was creating like a mind map, like and looking at the source code. I had source code in one window. I had the app running in Genie Motion in another window, and I had the mind map in a third window. Yeah. And I would interact with the app. Yeah. See what it's doing in the source code, take that block of code, put it in the mind map and say, this is what this is doing at this point. And then that's how I learned the application. So from login to whatever the app was doing, I did that whole thing with the code. And then all I did was anytime the software development team made changes to the code. Yeah. So what did you change? Oh, we changed the way we did this. So instead of going here, or instead of just being a linear login, whatever, now we call out for MFA processes. Oh, okay, cool. Give me that block of code. Put that here. So, you know, again, you should always constantly be learning. Yeah, so, that's the key. So, all right. So switching gears, because we're actually over time, and like Lord, I'm sorry. We've been chopping it up. No, so now we're gonna switch gears into retro gaming.
All right, let's do it.
So first of all, you could talk about your love for retro gaming, and then you can also talk about, I know, well, you started to do a stream. I know you got cooked on the first stream while you were playing smacked. But talk about your love for retro gaming and your new retro game stream.
Yes. So I have a love for retro gaming that goes back to the Atari 2600 days. Okay. And I'm talking about from the days of Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, to graduate into NES, where it was all about Castlevania, Mega Man, Final Fantasy, Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, Double Dribble, just to name a few, Contra, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I mean, I stayed on Nintendo for a long time, and yes, I mean, and the titles were endless. Little Nemo the Dream Master. Okay, this is in certain games that people are like, what the heck is he talking about, right? And now switching forward from Nintendo to Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, because they were out. Sega Genesis was out first.
Yep.
And Super Nintendo came out afterwards, right? But that whole 16-bit era where it was all about Shinobi, Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario World, Super R-Type, Super Tecmo Bowl, and of course the Madden era, right? The John Madden sports era. Genesis had the better sports games. They had the better sports play. Sega, and Super Nintendo had Street Fighter. When Street Fighter came out, that was a phenomenon. I mean, the 16-bit era was amazing, right?
The blood code for Mortal Kombat.
Yes, and HunterBot said E.T., the game that almost destroyed the gaming industry back in 1982.
Yes.
Listen, and fast forward from when we graduated from Sega Genesis, we graduated to Sony PlayStation and Nintendo 64. Oh, 007, GoldenEye, excuse me. Super Mario Kart 64. The Super Mario at 64, right? For the N64. A lot of different games. For the PlayStation, the first Grand Theft Auto, which wasn't anything. It was terrible,
No,
like a
it
little
was
box.
literally it was like an overhead.
It reminded me of Bomberman. Reminded me of Bomberman.
Yeah.
That's how the character played. NBA Live 1997, where the players looked realistic, but they were shaped like boxes. They were moving around like this, right? Like, let's talk about NFL Game Day. That was classic. NFL Blitz. Like, these are games. And then, of course, once you graduated from that, then we moved on to the Sega Dreamcast. Oh, so now
you done skip the Saturn area, but go ahead.
No.
Because Saturn is what destroyed Saturn destroyed the Dreamcast. Because
No.
They put so much money into Saturn.
Saturn was before the Dreamcast.
So wait, they had Sega CD. Remember, because Sega CD used to be the one that used to sit on top of the Sega Genesis.
Yes.
Then the Sega Saturn came out.
Yes.
What happened was they invested so much in Sega Saturn, and Sega Saturn bombed, probably because allegedly you could play burned games on it.
Well,
and then the Sega Dreamcast came out. But the Sega Dreamcast, there was, after the first initial couple years, because to me that was one of my favorite systems. But they had lost so much money from the Saturn that they could not continue to push the Dreamcast.
You know what hurt?
Yeah, that was.
But here's the thing, and for those who were rich at the time, Neo Geo, can't forget about that gaming system.
Atari Jaguar,
Atari Lynx,
yes,
Virtual Boy. For all the people that think that Meta was the first virtual reality, wrong. I had a Virtual Boy in 1994, okay, and it was just red and black, and it had Super Mario Tennis, okay, and only lasted for a year because that thing gave me headaches. That's why I had reservations about the Meta, right? Yes, NBA Jam.
Look,
yes.
So real quick, the funny thing is the whole reason, one of the whole reasons what made me be really reserved, Twisted Metal. Wow.
Yeah.
What really made me reserved about the headsets? On PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
There was a game called Heavy Rain.
Yes.
Right? Heavy Rain was probably one of the first games that allowed, it was like one of those, the decision you make leads down many paths, right? So for those, you probably won't get the game now, but if you can find a gameplay video of Heavy Rain and then jump down the rabbit hole of the different endings for the game. But in Heavy Rain, yes, my wife says she loved that game because so when Heavy Rain came out, I would play the game and Ladera was like, "What is this game?" But the story was so well told.
Realistic, yeah.
It got to the point where it was almost like I couldn't. You know how you watching TV with your wife. Y'all both have a show, and you can't watch the show without her. It got to the point where it was like, I'm coming home from work. We're gonna make dinner. Do not turn that game on until. And then she would make dinner. We would eat dinner in the kitchen, and then everybody would sit in the living room. And I would turn on Heavy Rain, and we would play till bedtime. And I got through that game. I got through that game in like a week and a half, right? Because now you find yourself, just all right. Let me just get to this thing, right? So Heavy, like I said, so everybody, please go check out that story, and then go down the list because I think they made a few games after that. There was they made Beyond Two Souls. I loved Beyond Two Souls, and I also think they did that Detroit Human game on PS4. But anyway, but in the story in Heavy Rain, there was a cop, and they had a prototype headset that was like an augmented reality headset, but it allowed you to see certain things that you wouldn't be able to see with the naked eye.
Right.
But they said it was a prototype, but the cop became too heavily dependent on it. And one of his alternate endings was he did it to find the killer, but he burned his brain to the point where he was trapped in that thing, and he was like in a nursing home, and he was trapped in that augmented reality even without the headset.
Yeah.
So it was so when they started doing the
took it
VR
back.
stuff, I was like, nope.
Yep. But you know what? I like the VR.
My wife said it was like binge watching a great show. It was.
That's true. That is true. Because that's just like what now, right? Like I have a Meta. I have a whatever it's called before, Oculus 2, right? Oculus 2, right? And once I got the Oculus, then I started using this software called InfoSec, which allows me to use a virtual desktop and everything in virtual reality. So I can have my Linux box. You put the agents on your Windows, Linux, and it works for Mac as well too. So I would have 3 laptops all in the virtual setting. You got your virtual keyboard. But the only tricky thing is if you got on a Teams meeting, your avatar would show up instead of your face. So that would freak people out. So you don't want to do that. You didn't want to do that. But it's InfoSec is still going. It's pretty good. I'd have a yearly subscription. I like it. I like the development of it, and just fun making the virtual desktop and the virtual environment. It's pretty fun though. The game that I'm waiting on now is Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. And you know what? That might be my new Animal Crossing right now. Because 2020 it was all about Animal Crossing. We had a Discord server and everything.
I bought my wife Animal Crossing. She hates the game.
Oh my goodness! Ouch, Miss Jackson.
I bought it for her because she's so, and I said, babe, I'm calling you out, but she's great at what she does with the cakes. But she was so caught up in what she was doing. I'm like, you know what, you need to do this and get lost in the game,
Animal
right?
Crossing was
so I bought Animal Crossing. I did. I bought Animal Crossing, and it was like when I bought Animal Crossing, I thought I was cooking. I'm in GameStop, like, ooh,
yeah.
She gonna love me forever. She's gonna love this game. The things you could do in that game. And I think I bought it for her for Christmas, right? And then maybe like a week later, it was like, yo, what the F is this that you bought me?
I know they selling fruits for money, like fruit for money.
I said you could build your land and farm,
Yes.
and she was like, I want to do that crap, like, right?
But then your island, the virtual island. Oh my
like,
god,
right? But and then it was like there was that, and then I don't know if you've played Ori and the Blind Forest, and then Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Yeah.
So she played Ori years ago when I first got it on Xbox, and then she got it again for her Switch. So now she started playing that one, and I have Will of the Wisp, but I just haven't had the time to get around to playing it. So she buys it, and then she starts playing, and then like it was to the point where like I wake up in the middle of the night, and I would just like,
you see the glow,
go, right? So but yeah, shout out to my wife.
Look, between like Mario Kart and everything else, like I said, I love what the Switch has done, right? I like, and that's a perfect example, right? You see the Switch didn't follow the traditional handheld console, right? You see it change the game. And that, because without the Switch, there's no Steam Deck.
Right.
So I like how, like when Nintendo Switch came out and they had that commercial where you could just dock your game and don't lose any time or status, and you can still keep playing while you dock. Oh, shut up and take I was sold. I pre-ordered. I was at games. I was one of those people that was on the line at 12 midnight at GameStop.
Fam.
Yes.
I was okay. So put it this way. When we first moved to Georgia, the day it came out, I actually lucked out and we just stumbled across the GameStop. And I remember we bought it. We bought the little games that came with it, like the 1-2 switch, the stupid game where you pretend you whatever, the little games. And I bought Breath of the Wild. I said, don't nobody touch this. This is mine. Matter of fact, the Nintendo Switch, the main Nintendo Switch system in my house, it's not even mine. It's the missus. Like, listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's hers.
Yep.
Like the other day we were having a conversation. She was like, let's not forget it's mine. I was like, you're right, babe, you're right. But I was like, so this is yours.
Yep.
But this is mine. Fast forward, come home one day.
Nope.
Why is the plastic off of? Now my son's like, Dad, do you know about the divine beast? And did it? Hold up, wait, you
took over the takeover. Yo, my daughter's like that now. Like she's taking over my Super Nintendo. She's like, she comes home. Can we play video games? I'm like, okay. I want to see the control. I'm like, what is happening here? I'm losing the control here.
Remember back in the day? Remember back in the day when you had like the little sibling or the baby cousin or the child and that wanted to play the game with you, so you would unplug the controller, but leave it like it looked like it's plugged in and give them the control. My daughter was okay with that. My son, I think he caught that quick.
Wait, I can't move anymore. What's going on? Yep. Yeah, they do. They do quick. And my plushies, like my world changed. My plushies were always in constant danger. And look, I had to tell this on my daughter. It was so funny. She called first. She was like, "Daddy, I want the monkey." I said, "What's the monkey?" She called Mario the monkey. I was like, "It's Mario." Yes, the monkey.
The monkey.
I was like, yeah, because I was like, because when she was first learning how to talk, she was like, "The monkey. I want the monkey." I'm like, "Oh my God. Please, Mario. Call him Mario."
Look, me, I'd have been like Donkey Kong. Okay,
no, she wanted Mario. My plushies were constant danger. It's just, yeah. But I digress. I like I said, video games have always been a part of my life. I'll be 70-something years old playing video games. Don't even matter,
bro.
It's here to stay.
I started an esports club. Like
that's it.
Like we here now. Look.
Yes, I'm looking forward to getting down there. I'm definitely looking forward to getting out there. What happened?
This is what Ori did to me.
Oh my God! I thought that was the power glove for a second. I said, "Oh
no, that's what." No, so she was playing, and she had it up like this, and so now she got a little carpal tunnel thing going on.
Oh my God, yo! I said, "What kind of power glove is that?" At first, I was looking at it. Oh my goodness!
So we got an appearance by my wife's carpal tunnel glove.
Feel better.
Oh man, this show is going crazy. All right, man. So talk about the upcoming or the stream that you've been working on. Man.
So the stream I've been working on. It's been a couple of weeks because due to like life and everything else. But I do have a stream on Twitch called Good Times of Gaming with the BSDBandit. I'm looking to get back to that the following Thursday, which is next week. I'm actually going to be playing Bonk's Adventure next week on the original TurboGrafx 16. Yes. And that will come on right after the show at 8:00.
There you go. So InfoSec Unplugged from 6 to 7. You go get something to eat and then go catch your gaming stream with the BSDBandit. Like I said, I'm probably I guess since we're talking about the gaming stuff now with the whole thing with the esports launch and all of that, I will be launching a bunch of different gaming things around gaming. So I will be documenting my whole journey into the esports thing.
I love it.
Into that world, building out the community, building out the center. Also, I'm probably going to start streaming like all the games that I have, that I've paid for, that I've been given, that I have not played. So God of War, I'm gonna finish Forspoken. I got Rainbow Six Siege. I got game. Don't even get me started on the Xbox games, but that'll all be, that's gonna all be there on the Alpha Esports and technology page. Like I said, I hope to have more information with that soon. Also, I might as well put it out here soon since we're talking about it. If there are people who want to join like an esports club or esports community, I will be doing virtual registrations. There's going to be a cost, but if it's going to be a community, we can go over some stuff. We can train in Overwatch, Rocket League, Fortnite, some other stuff, is going to be online. So obviously if you have the game, we can make it happen. So,
how you feel about Mario Kart?
Oh, bro. Oh, bro, I'm with it.
I'm up here having a connection. Shut up and take my money.
I'm with it. Oh, I'm with it. Oh, no. Let's not play. Hold on. Oh, you like you lucky I didn't add those sound. I'm with it. Mario, let me tell you something. Mario Kart gets real in the house.
Woo.
Like we don't play for participation trophies when Mario Kart in the system. Like my kids' friends will come over and they play and they're like, I think I'm good at Mario Kart. And they'd be like, shh, don't let my dad hear you say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I pop up like,
listen,
grab the sticks. Let's go.
My nephew. Listen, my nephew. No, my niece know what it is. Hi, Lyric. That's right. I'll call it out. That's right. No, I had to show you some moves from 1992. You didn't know what was going on.
I had to say this. The last time it got real with Mario Kart in the house. Yeah. Again, my son is catching up to me. My son is coming for the old man.
You
right?
can't be on top forever, man.
Yo, no. We gonna go till I can't. Right? We gonna go till I can't. Like there are certain like Smash Brothers, like he'll get me in Smash Brothers, but again, going back to the whole hacking thing, let me figure it out for a minute and get a lay of the land. And after a while, I start looking at trends. What you doing? Oh, you like to move this after you go here? Okay, I'm gonna cut you off, hit you with the up, whatever, right? But Mario Kart. Yeah, I think, and this probably it got heated. I think we were up till like 2 a.m. one night.
Yeah,
one night, yo, it got real. Like the girls went to bed. The wife and daughter went to bed. The dog went to bed, and the men we were going. And I'm like I said, I'm saying it. Because me and him had an argument, but we were having a discussion the other day, and he was like, "I can smoke you a Mario Kart. Watch your mouth." First of all, watch your mouth. But but yeah, no Mario Kart. Yeah, no Mario. Oh, we can set that up.
We can set that up. We can
set that up. We can definitely. Oh, see, look, look, we see now
ring the alarm.
We gonna have to discover. We gonna have to hack a 25th hour. We gonna have to hack a 25th hour,
bro. I'm telling you, like. I had to move the Mario Kart because I thought I was cool playing in one of the Battlefield. Remember Battlefield, right? Hardline.
Yeah.
I went into the Battlefield Hardline server. They got my butt up out of there. Look,
yo. So one night, me and the wife was feeling froggy, and we jumped online and played on. When I tell you, and again, following the trends, first place, you're safe. If you can get to first place and get a little bit of distance, you're safe. If you know what you're doing while you're driving. Second place is a little bit of a whatever. Once you get to about third and fourth, it is a war zone.
It is like
you hear me. It is me and Ladera played one night, and I think we stayed up late one night too, just going. Because it was just like, yo, it got to the point where like, babe, don't get in fourth place. Don't get in fourth place. Oh, you right? Because what happens is now if you get in fourth place, now everybody else the rest of the pack start to catch up, and you can go from first to 10th with a red shell.
Bad. it gets bad. Like,
but yeah, no, we gonna have to. We gonna have to set that up.
I said I put my friend code. All right, folks, I put my friend code in the Discord chat.
All right, there we go. All right, so I guess I have to do the same. So we gonna make that happen. So if you got Mario Kart, look, we can still be friends after though. To everybody, like, listen, I don't want to get like canceled because we was playing Mario Kart and I don't want to be called bully.
You'll recognize me on the avatar. I am bald in in the Nintendo Switch. I am bald, so you'll recognize me.
All right, so look, we already 30 minutes over. So go ahead. We're gonna wrap up. So final question: what's your why, sir?
What's my why?
Yeah.
Why are we like this? What I mean by this is, and this is just an open letter to everyone. I want you to take time out tonight. My why is like, why is my thought process like this? What is the end game? What am I looking for? What am I chasing after? The only way I'll know that is by keep on living, keep on having fun. That's my why for this evening. Now, I challenge you to figure out your why.
Damn, I gotta find. Let me find this. There we go. There we go. So, all right. Well, then with that, again, sir, I thank you for joining. Like I said, I appreciate that. That's, again, that's why you do it. That's why we do it. That's why we're here.
Yep.
And why we got to keep pushing, man. We got to keep pushing for greatness and pushing each other.
It.
So, I do want to take the moment out just to say again, thank you. Like, you have definitely been a friend, a brother, an ear, through this journey, through the whole decision process. I think when I came to the decision, you were literally one of the first people I told outside of my household that this is what I was doing. I know a lot of people, especially in the Discord server and stuff, when I kept saying, there's something I want to tell, but I can't. And I'm hitting you up on the side going, all right, bro, look, this is what I'm trying to do. And, getting your thought process on it, man. And like I said, I appreciate the words of encouragement and the wisdom and the support, man. And like I said, we got stuff cooking, man. We got stuff cooking. I'm looking forward. I'm not gonna lie, I am scared shitless about this journey.
That's good.
I am scared. I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I haven't even started paying rent yet, and I'm like, how am I gonna pay the light bill? And I don't even have a light bill yet. But it's like, you know what? I feel like it's something that's necessary. It's something that's needed. And again, having the support system of you and so many others who are just like, yo, we can make this happen. Having that community, it reinforces my why. When I decided to get, and again, it's because it's something that's needed. We need to, we need to rewrite the books on how things are done. And like I said, stop being hypocrites and build our own. So,
and you can take this reference as well too. You've seen Rocky 3 and Clubber Lang,
of course.
So, when he says, I'm the champ, I beat you like I did last time. Go into that, take that Clubber Lang mentality as you're going through this journey and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to overcome it like I did last time. With that Clubber Lang look. Any obstacle that comes into your way, be like, I'm the champ. I'm going to overcome it like I did last time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been InfoSec Unplugged. This has been my guest, Charles Shirer, a.k.a. the BSDBandit. Man, I guess we international. We have someone over from the Netherlands. It's 1:30.
Awesome. Hey.
So Lilo, thank you. I hope we didn't keep you up too late. And if you for some reason have insomnia, make sure you tune in next week. No, but seriously, thank you to everyone. Thank you to the pack. There's so many people to name in here, but again, thank you for just making the show what it is. Thank you to Charles, and I will see y'all all next week. So y'all take care.
Yeah.
Ow! Yip, yip. There it is. There it is. All right, y'all. Peace.
Later.